Hello and welcome back to the Fantasy Take TV podcast. It is the Round 16 podcast, and we're here to talk about how we went, go over any trades we might have or what we did. I don't think George did any this week. I did one, which went not too bad, but I mean, the stretch run home. We're really just going to talk about some news with some injuries and whatnot. A couple of lessons we learnt this year, George, me especially, but even yourself. Some targets for everyone, who they might look at on the run home, who we might be jumping off if anyone, any doubts over anyone. And then we might finish off at the end with looking ahead to next year, George. I know you're inside the top 10K, but you're still looking ahead to next year. Just maybe a couple of players we might like at this point of the year. But how'd you go this week, mate?
Not as good as yourself. 22.63, I think it was. A lot went wrong this week. I had Merritt captain. Didn't pull the trigger on Sexton. Probably should have. He's not the worst F6, but I feel like there's like a lot of really good, like Cordwell, Rankin. Don't have either of them. I feel like I should get one of them in. Didn't have Dunkley. Walsh is 70% owned, so top 1%. So that's a bit of a handicap not having him. But yeah, did no trades, so couldn't do any backfire trades. Couldn't pay up for players this week like usually. So not much to say. I think heroes and no, we don't do heroes. We do fault and MVP. It was heroes and villains. That's some other website. MVP of the week. Looking pretty bad. It's got to go to Dillmore. 136 was looking like a really poor score. Like we own him, so you could get a 140, you could get a 70 out of him. This was not the week for him to pull off 70, so got the 136 from Moore. 29 touches at half forward, so yeah, he's been brilliant. And fault of the week has to go to Merritt, really. How did he not convert that 70-point halftime score into a ton? Yeah, he went. Checked halfway through the third, and he was on I think 72 at halftime. He was on like 60, like low 60s. So he had like a negative 10 quarter or halfway through. So I don't know, gave away 50 or something. I'm not sure. I was watching the Crows, but that was on at the same time. But yeah, Merritt, bit of a letdown. I did VC Nick, and he scored 115. Should have taken it, but got greedy. And this is what happens. Happens at least once a year. You get greedy, and you captain the 70. But on to you. And I heard you had a very good week. How'd you go?
Mate, it's been, 16 weeks coming. 24.63. And I was looking, I think I told you in the Discord, my best round rank this year. Actually, I don't know if you saw it or not. What do you think it was before this week? Just best single round rank.
Yeah. Oh, like 8K?
Not even, mate. Not even. Before this week, it was 12K back in round 2. There's a 13K, a couple of 13Ks, another 17K, and everything else 20, 30, 40, 50. And this week,
so what was your round rank this week?
1.3K. So nice. That's just, mate, that's so bad. A whole year without like an inside the top 10K round finish. That's crazy. It shows why I'm so poorly ranked. I'm 19K. I think I got into 14K this week. So look, all my shit pods just decided to turn up in the 1 week. So we'll take that. I had the one good week this year, and we'll move on to next year. All I needed was, just a little feel good week.
Glad you stuck around.
Whatever happens. Mate, I wasn't even really paying attention to footy. I just looked on Sunday. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm actually like no one else. What's going on? Like all you guys. I did see a lot of you Captain Merritt, which obviously sucks. What did I do? So I did my one trade. Had Kirch all year. A lot of you guys trade him out. Actually, you didn't start him to begin with.
I've never had him somehow.
But a lot of people might have been, start him, got rid of him, got him back, whatever. I've had him the whole year. I never trade him out. He did come good playing back in defense. Then I've continued to hold him through this, and I just thought it could be my cover point. But, I've got Dowling. I've got, funnily enough, Braden Campbell, who actually scored 67. So he's like my little defender swing. I don't know why. I just went with him at 180K last week instead of that D's rookie. So I just went stuff it. I'll trade him instead of, I put a bit of money into, like I could have got a Rosie or something like that. I'm like, stuff it. Let me get Dunks. Dunks. I think Brizzy have quite a good run home. I knew they had obviously Melbourne this week, who for midfield that's been pretty good. Quite a big period of time, like the last couple of years, last few years, it's been a good matchup. And he went really well, and I stuck the VC on him. And I think the rest of the year they might have a decent run, and they're looking better, right? I haven't watched them too much footy, but they've turned a corner a bit, haven't they? So, what is it? You guys in West Coast or something? They've got next couple of weeks. So
he goes big on the Crows, I think. If you look at his history,
yeah. So I just said, why not? We love Dunks. He's been one of our favourites for 5 or 6 years. Get him in.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you had to get rid of Kirch to do so. So stuff it. Thought why not? Down to 2 trades and team, still got a couple of dub primos. Like you mentioned Sexton before. We've both got him at F6. I think Fisher's a bit of a doubt this week. What he got subbed out for? Was it injury or was it tacticals? People said it was might have been tactical. So always worried about that with him.
Yeah, they announced tactical, but I think he copped some knock and he was limping. Now it's come out, he's got a foot foot issue.
Might be saving face. Might want to drop him again. I don't know. Anyway, that could be a problem. So yeah, I'll have to just hold the 2 trades, George, and see how we go. But MVP, I mean, it's got to go to like probably the collective of just. I guess you said Walsh is 70% owned, but like Sinclair, not very low owned, Anderson, Dunks as well, and you gave it to Dylan Moore already, so I'll probably give it to Noah Anderson. Since getting him in, he's given me 250s, and they've just been like first up against Jordan the week I got him in, got tagged, didn't expect that, and then another one against I can't remember who, but he's had 140s and 150s outside of that. So I think I was looking, he's averaged like 106 for me in his team and in my team. Sorry, so it's hasn't been total disaster, but if those 50s were just, I don't know, 90s or as flat 100, it'd be looking a lot better. He's actually averaging just under 110 for the year, 109.9. So I know I haven't had him that whole time. And the mids has been a bit of a weird one this year, George. Like, you look through it, like, yeah. So he's been okay. Benefit of the doubt, he's been okay.
No, you'd be happy with him. Better than a certain other Gold Coast.
Yeah, true. I didn't. Yeah,
but yeah, I think at the start of the year, I thought like next gen's like taken over, like Sarong, Green, Rao, Anderson.
Yeah,
I think Anderson would have gone on with it, and same with Sarong. They've both been tagged a lot.
Yeah.
Green and Rao, I think Green's starting to come good. But yeah, I think he hit the panic button, paid up too much early, but. Yeah, looking at Anderson, you would have got 3. I think there's 4 140 pluses here he's given you.
But he just puts the 50s in. Like, what's that, man? I mean, tagged is fair, but the other one I don't think really was. But anyway. And then fault probably Houston. We were just talking before we started. Like, didn't pick these 2 guys, and we were watching them just pound us for, 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I think you got Ryan earlier than me. No, you didn't have Ryan either until like... Oh, mate, you still have
3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay. Anyway, I've got them both in. Just I think after their buys, and Houston, couple of like 90 or 70. Obviously, he got the 170, so it offsets it a little. But Ryan's been pretty meh as well. So both of them have dropped big cash since getting them in. So yeah, I think if you're looking, or you got a defender you don't like, maybe Nick Martin or something like that. I know they're a bit cheaper, but I'll be looking towards Sinclair, mate, because he's been since, what have I had him for? 3 weeks, and he's had 4 weeks. He's had a buy as well. He's outperformed almost everyone. I think it's
with the buy as well.
Yeah, 3 round average of like 140 or something like that. So, and they don't leave. Yeah, it doesn't matter now really, but hopefully it gets me inside the top 10K. But no, what is it? 8 games left and 7 at Marvel. So
yeah,
everyone I think knows that. Nas probably be good too, but. Who knows? They might get attention this week, though, right? They got Jordan. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I like him. We might probably talk about him later anyway. So news, George. Anything you found tonight worth talking about?
A little bit here and there. Tom DeConing is a test the soreness. I had to laugh. I know no one plays sports tech, but I have Luke Jackson, F7, and TDK R2. So I could have thrown up. Jackson's so bad in that format, but I only got him for right cover. But
how are you going in that? because I haven't looked at any game since except for SuperCoach since about round 8. Just thought I'll give myself a rest this year. But yeah, what are you
fresh
ranked?
for next year. But yeah, TDK is an interesting one. Do they? A bit of a worry because they might need, if he's sore again, they could support him with Pitney. It's a bit of a watch.
That was my always worry. I think I said it last or 2 weeks ago. That still, I feel like I know it was for injury or a bit of soreness, but that's what happened. TDK played solo ruck for 4 weeks and he's sore, so they'll want to protect him for sure. They don't want to go. I mean, he's prized possession right now, isn't he? So that was always a bit of a worry. But hey, if you got him in, you'd still be laughing with what he's done for you.
Oh, absolutely. Parrish is out for 3 weeks still, so I think Cordwell is a popular target. Had the 92% CBA. Oh, I don't know if it was 92. It was 90-something. We'll speak about Cordwell after. Conway apparently is in a moon boot, so I think Sam de Koning's rucking at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know what happens with Stanley. I think he's playing 2 Stanley. But yeah, it could be like a really cheap R2. Not R2, cheap defender if Sam de Koning keeps rucking. Josh Kelly's done a calf 4 to 5 weeks. Peatling could be a decent one, but I think the sub-risk is too high with him. But Peatling has scored well. Sicily's shoulder popped out again. I think he's one where if you have him, you just hold. If you don't, I think you probably don't go there because of the shoulder could pop out again. We spoke about Zach Fisher before. Is a test with a mid-foot sprain, I think. Okay. So listed as a test. So to me, if it's a 1 weeker, I think I'm holding.
Yeah.
This is where the 23rd would be nice. Callum is back in 1 week. Is he going to make the team? Surely. Yeah, he will for sure.
He has to. It's just, yeah. What, did someone get injured at Sydney this week? I saw. I don't really care, but because I got Braden Campbell, I think I saw someone, or am I tripping? Harry Cunningham, early sub.
Yeah.
Hamstring tightness, so maybe. Did you say Mills this week or next week?
1 week. So I suppose
maybe it comes in for him. Yeah.
How much is Mills? I don't think you can go there, but maybe one for next year.
Yeah, it'll be cheap.
He's expensive. He's $490. Okay, I thought it was like $400. Anyway, and then Flynn. I don't know why I put Matt Flynn here. Ankle TBC could be out for a while.
Whoever's got West Coast, right? Because I think Locke's saying he's still got Meek, and Meek had BJ for a half, dominated, or 3/4, whatever it was. And then Meek gets Sam de Koning this week. But yeah, whoever West Coast have, obviously, without Flynn, it's an even easier sort of matchup.
That is Max this week.
Yep.
So speaking about captains towards the end. So that's the news. I don't know if you can think of anything else, but that's not too much going on.
Jesus. Not the man for news these days. Not keeping up too much with it. Just saw another Richmond player, though. I think their mid-season did his hamstring. So, I mean, it's just cursed right now. You wouldn't want to be putting on Richmond colours. I think they should all just train in casual clothes or something right now because something's going on. Who hasn't got injured this year?
There's talk. It's media, but you got Shea there.
Yeah, if we can get something back for him, I would do it. Yeah.
2 first, would you trade him?
I think I would. Yeah, I'd want to keep Baker though. I think he's leadership. Maybe, I mean, he's already vice captain. He's captained a few times. That's a type of player you want to keep. I know Shea's probably more talented, but a team might see him as, cherry on top. Like Freo, let's be real, they're going pretty decent at the moment. Put him in their forward line. He's that type of player where if the team's going pretty well, he's just extra addition to that. Whereas a team like us now, I mean, it's even same with Dusty. Those type of players, they just don't. Yeah, they just do whatever. If it's not a big game at the G on a Friday night, these boys they don't care. I was watching the game. I forgot Dusty was even playing on the weekend. I know he has a right to do whatever he wants these days, but he was moping around pretty big time. So for Shea, I mean, he's still young. Yeah, Dusty. Dusty can get all the slacky ones. I don't care what he does. but Shea, he's 25, so like if you can get a decent haul for him, I probably would. Bakes is more the guy I'd want to keep, even though I think he's pretty much the same age. But you'd want Baker there just as a type of lead,
Yeah.
I think he's just much more reliable than Shea, even though Shea can have his big games, match winning moments. If you just get Freo to give us, pick or two and a young player, something like that, I wouldn't mind. Whether we do it or not, who knows? What are we talking about now, George? Just
Lessons.
a lesson. Yeah, you got something you thought of. What's your lesson that comes to mind?
Not sure if it's a lesson,
Or just
but
anything
more
you
the
want to bring
approach
up.
to next year. Did you had Ollie with me, right?
Yes.
Ollie Wines.
Yeah.
I went full, I went a lot of value. Maybe it was the wrong year just because of best 22, best 18 early. But yeah, the Ollie, Steele, Matt Crouch, loaded up, Nick Martin, loaded up on cheap mids. I think it was okay. I think that my team's been all right. And it's probably what held the team in good stead. Because I think I had one less rookie than most other people just because I took so many cheaper players. I think I'll go that route again next year.
Yeah.
And I think I'll put more thought into not paying for a Bont. Like 650 mids next year. I don't know if I want any. I think we'll get like Dawson, Rosie, Oliver, see how he goes in preseason. Maybe a Petrarca. See what happens with Callum. Even like Wardlaw. I don't know with Wardlaw though, but it looks good. I think I might load up on those guys and go more. I think there's a guy in our Discord named Celine Dion, and he's ranked 50, and he has like the fakest primo team I've ever seen.
But just
I think
a
he's
lot
got
of primos.
24 premiums. I think he's got like 2 mid premiums on the bench or something ridiculous.
You know what that might be though, right? Just a lot of the, like, probably especially the mids haven't just really popped as much as they, like besides Bond, who's now really getting into 130 territory again. Like Heaney's still the second average player this year, 122, and he's forward mid. Sarong's dropped under 120. Flanders is the other one who's also a forward. Like there's not enough. There's always been at least 2 or 3 or maybe 4 120 plus mids, and there's only just Bont this year. So he's probably been able to get away. I mean, look, fair play to him. They've killed it this year. A lot of top teams have like 24 premiums, a couple extra on the bench, looping them every week. But I feel like maybe they've just been able to get away with it more this year just due to the, I don't know, condensed nature of like all the premiums. I just feel like it's been a few years gone past, with your Clarys and I guess Neil's started to come pretty good this year. He's almost
Steele and Tuchel 120 plus for a few years.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe I'm just coming up with that on the fly, but I don't know. But I mean, Bont's still getting back up to 700k. He's the one guy I just feel like I don't know. I want to pay for every year until he's out of his prime. Because I mean, you still would have saved 100k on him if getting him in like round.
I think he dropped
620. Yeah, and he
started
at 720.
Really bad game, like first bad game in years.
And you need that though he'll still drop money, of course, no matter like if you're 700, you're going to. But I don't know, he's still that guy you want to pay. But I get the point across the board. But I feel like we did. Well, I did anyway. Try to do that a bit with like your wines and there's a lot of other cheaper types like Martin Fisher types sort of thing. But that's my problem. Young, except I just went stuff you guys and got rid of them all within 3 weeks.
I did the same.
Problem.
Them.
That's probably the lesson. Is like, I mean, I know you get those early rounds and boosts to try and reorder your team before price changes, but a bit of extra faith is probably. I just got impatient. I
lost faith
way
quickly.
Too impatient. Yeah.
So I think I was going to add one more thing onto that, but I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me. I don't know.
Sorry.
Any lessons for you?
I mean, I just got mine in there at the end, like just the impatience at the start of the year. I was just going to bring up my first few trades. I mean, I didn't start Max Gorn. That could have been the easy lesson saying that right there. Just
Yeah.
But that's a lesson learned years ago. You've got a famous video on that you just should have sent to me just before. I mean, I had the team that I kind of wanted with him and Rowan, but then obviously Grundy, that sort of round zero kind of thing, went him going so big, made me
was
switch it.
forced.
But
He had Big Grundy.
I think, you still kind of had to, even though he started a little bit averagely, he's obviously come into really good form. Oh, he's been in good form for a long time now. But I guess the ideal start would have been Gawn and Cherry, really, or maybe Grundy Cherry sort of thing. But Gawn was going so big, you probably would have needed
I think
him. So
Gorn
Gawn
first.
Cherry,
Yeah.
and
Gorn
then
and Grundy was fine. You just needed to hold Grundy past his bye because pre-bye he wasn't that good.
yep, you're still getting into it. But I mean, look, first round 2, Gibcus obviously, but I turned Martin and Fisher into Sarong and Billings, like sort of half going backwards, not backwards, but obviously Fisher wasn't too hot to start the year, but turned him into Sarong and a cheaper player. Then the very next week, Grundy and Hayden Young. Hayden Young drops at 60. Grundy, I'm like, see you later. I had Jackson, so I put him R2 for I think a week until I got gone. So just turn him into butters. So like I just was going for the top end premiums, turning a couple of my mid price picks that I was already like stuff you guys and get rid of them into like a premium, and just probably set me backwards more than forwards, if anything. So yeah, we'll see. Does this round 0 start? Is it still going to be a thing next year, George? You would be more up to date with it than me. What's the go?
They did an interview, like Laura Kane didn't really rule it out. So they're reviewing stuff. I think Dylan's comments today about the umpiring was a little bit concerning. Did you see that?
No, what was that?
He just said umpiring's never been as good as this. It's never been better or something.
Okay, right.
Which would piss off a lot of Essendon supporters.
What?
So I don't know. I do feel like I don't have much faith in the current admin because really the round 0 was kind of unforgivable with the buys. Like we had like a stack of coaches whinged about it.
I mean, teams having a bye 3 weeks into the season, George. Like,
yeah,
what?
like teams like the Dogs didn't have a bye till later, and you could see like Bont needed a spell for a bit there. It was a bit sore.
Yeah.
Whereas you got your Swans and Collingwood stuff getting that spell that
true,
pretty huge. So
true.
But yeah, the one thing I wanted to add,
you go. Yeah,
I was going to add a separate topic, but I think the 40 trades is interesting because every year, like post buy, we have a few plays that don't really turn out or don't really finish as well as we hope. Remember that the year Jaden Short played midfield, Jack Crisp, I don't think you had him, but he was terrible, average 80 post buy. You really wanted to jump off, but didn't have the trades to. Whereas now, I feel like those extra trades could have been used for, for example, Hayden Young's playing a bit forward now. Nick Martin's still getting the touches, but not converting it to scoring. And then, a Rao, for example, in the midfield's been awful. So, I'd love to use these trades to just jump off and grab a Sinclair. Can't do it. I can, but I can go to one to trade and get rid of Joe Richards. So, I think he's going to be my cover, my 23rd. So, maybe save that 1 or 2 extra trades, but I think I've said that 7 years in a row and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But that's just, it makes the game very different to play. So hopefully take a few lessons from this year. Other people obviously navigated it better, but that's part of the game. And it's so hard these days, even JD and a few other good coaches we've had in years gone past they'll probably say they're going decently well or they're happy with their team, but they're sitting 4, 5, 6K. It's just, there's a lot more people that are good at this game these days. It's really, obviously luck's always involved in these games, but even more nous, I guess, as far as navigating, early buys, trading especially, which has always been the case, but I think it's just height now. You really got to nail it. You've really got to nail it to, one misstep, 2 missteps, and you
can't misstep. I misstepped.
You're behind and you can't catch up.
Yeah, I did. I brought in Trent Rivers in fantasy. He was traded Oliver out because Oliver had went 60 and 20. His break even was a bit high, and then took a punt on Rivers. Like I never wanted Rivers. 1 week of data of midfield looked all right.
Yeah.
Played like shit the week after. Gave away like 3 frees straight away. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be a good night. Just stuff like that. Just losing concentration. Obviously, money's a bit of a factor as well there, but because Oliver dropped so much. But just not losing concentration at any point in the year. I think that's
Back yourself in from your original thoughts.
Just not lose track. Like you never don't bring in plays you never wanted.
Yep.
So,
let's talk about a couple that people might be looking at. Should we talk about the jump offs first, and then we can go into who maybe people could jump on if they do want to jump off these players? So, you mentioned him just before, Hayden Young. What's the go with him recently? Because I've been pretty busy working and just stuff on the weekends. I haven't caught as much footy lately as I'd like, and I missed that really good game on the weekend. I only saw the highlight of the Logan McDonald set shot, but missed the whole game. So what's the go with Hayden Young recently?
I'm not sure he touched the ball in the second half. The roll's not too bad, but it's like when the CBAs drop, it's like it's deeper forward rather than high half forward. I think
I did see the week before, and he kicked a couple goals right, and like
3,
saved his score. Yeah, 3 was it? But if he's not doing that, it's not as good, I guess. Yeah.
So I think he scored 37 DT, which is atrocious.
For the game.
Young, he had a good ratio.
What? Oh my god!
And he's got Richmond this week, so I've got him in the other formats. But he's one where I'm just I'm going to hold for this week and then probably jump off the week after. I think on Fox came up where he had, I think it was like 22% forward time. So it wasn't that much. The CBAs are still not bad, but it does feel like he's resting forward a fair bit, and it's going to be tough to score like that. And Fife is impossible to predict. Fife looks like good 1 week and then bad for 2 weeks. So I feel like they're still going to persist with Fife in that midfield. Fife CBAs was a season high this week. No, second highest. And Young's was a season lowest at 52. I'm just going to bring up
I'm looking at it now too. Sarong's the number 1, but it's surprisingly not as high as I thought he'd be season long, like 77 is his average.
Yeah.
More in the 70s than you'd like. I guess maybe the tag played a bit of a part and has in weeks gone past. They sort of maybe move him out, do they? I'm not sure. But
I think tags have had, they've thrown him on a wing a little bit here and there just to throw the opposition off. But I think Young is a luxury jump off. I think it's a hold probably for this week.
Definitely this week with us. Absolutely.
I think the break even, surely it's not too bad. Because we went big the week before. So I think he can hold for 1 and just have another look at the role. But he's not one to bring in for sure.
That's crazy though.
103 against Richmond, so hold this week.
Lowest dream team on Freo besides the subbed on and subbed off players. It's crazy. Yeah, I agree. Definitely hold him, at least for this week, and reassess. Next one is your man Matty Real, which if I want to stand my flag on one thing I got right this year was just not liking him at what he was priced at early in the year, because super gun player, sure. But I did say at the time, I just don't. He is in what he does, right? In what he does. Okay. He's not. I'm not going to put him in the top 6, 7, 8 mids in the comp. He has to do more things, and he's still young, so he can. But at what he does, that's like a top 5 contested ball winner. But I guess he's probably not even doing that as well lately, is he, George? And that's the thing. It's not something you can rely on, I thought, early in the year like he was. 25 contested touches a week is not going to happen. No. And if he's not doing that, he still doesn't do enough other things. Cheap ball, he doesn't really look for it, get it. A lot of the other guys do. They love that. Your Flanders, Tukes, Noah Andersons, they love that stuff. And Rao doesn't get involved in it. So what's he? I mean, he's down to 479. What is it for? What are you doing, George? Are you 497?
Don't know. I think so Will Phillips tagged him last time to 60 to 80. Sorry,
this week. Yeah.
Do they go to Anderson? Could they go Flanders? I don't know. I think they're going to use Phillips, especially with Wardlaw out again. I think I want to jump. Would you go Rowell to Rosie if you had that?
Yeah, I was almost going to get Rosie in, like I said before, and keep Kirch. That was my decision the last week or two. I haven't watched Freo enough. Port, I haven't watched Rosie since he's been back, and look, because he's looked okay, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, he's been fine.
But I haven't seen it with my own two eyes. So
first half was really good.
If you've seen that yourself,
you're
probably thinking it. Especially, what have you seen from? Have you seen any bad things from Rao? Or is it just a dip in form and he doesn't do enough?
Yeah,
what do you think it is?
It almost looks like he has OP, trying to run around. It does. It's ball flicks over his head all the time. I think it gets burnt quickly at stoppage if he's not winning it straight away. It's I don't like what I see. It's testing though, because every time I've traded a premium, I think the average score for a trade at premium, not exaggerating at all, honest to God, I think it's about 135. And there's been 4 or 5 of them, English. I'm not going to go through them all, but I definitely jump off if you can. It's just if you can't, do you just hold? Because he's 2 months of 80 essentially, and I do feel like that's 2 months of 90. I think. Honestly, I feel like that's what's going to happen. I think Rosie can bank a bit of money. That gets me Sexton to Cordwell. So that's what I'm thinking of doing at the moment.
And how many trades is that down to?
3.
4 down to 2, 5 down to 3. I don't mind that. You'll feel good about the rest of the year, I think.
Hopefully.
I think the Rosie, Router Rosie part is less enticing. Sexton to Caldwell's clear.
Yeah.
Rosie's upgrade, that might be. Is it good?
No, it's horrific.
Oh, wow.
Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Tigers, Carlton, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Freo away.
Well, Tigers
but he did score well against Brisbane at home. I worry against the Dogs because I think that's a really, the big-bodied midfields really, Port struggle with them.
Okay.
Although they did all right against Brisbane. Or the mids did okay. Everyone else got hammered.
You have to think about it, but you want to jump off Real for sure. Problem is if you go up, can you go up? Is that an option? Is there anyone?
Not really. I can, but that means holding Sexton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I could go to Andy. I think I got Andy in the list. Freo have a pretty nice run coming up. Tigers this week.
Yeah.
I think I read it out last week, but
it's Richmond, 508. So yeah.
Hawks, Melbourne, West Coast, Essendon, Geelong, Giants, Port. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But I think jump off for if you can, I think.
And then a couple more to jump off. Nick Martin, who's in my team. It's one of those players that, as I said, traded out early in the year. Got him back, I think, around 5 or 6. And he's just been largely pretty average for that time. I mean, if his average is 101 now, when I got him back in, it was, must have been about 110 or something like that, 106, 108. So he's definitely averaging about low 90s or something for me, mid 90s since coming back in.
Yeah,
he just hasn't quite been good enough. Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. And I mean, at D6, it's not horrible. But I'd imagine if people have got ideal teams that have a better D6 than that, a lot of people might have gone on Jordan Clark at some point. A lot of people have bloody Jeremy McGovern and types like that. Even Whitfield, who I got rid of. Probably should have got rid of Nick Martin instead of him, about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Martin's target's dropped as well. It's been 90 plus all year, 93 plus. It's been high 80s the last 2 weeks.
So
and he's getting CBAs. There's 7%. 7 CBAs this week.
That's weird.
I didn't watch because I was watching the Crows on the other channel, but
that's 1 or 2 or something. So
27 touches. Yeah, 63%.
Yeah, he doesn't convert it. This is what I saw early in the year and made me get rid of him.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess it's always been a worry. He can have really good games. He's impacted a couple of their wins big time, like but late in
Yeah.
games, fourth quarter, playing up, half forward. But
Mm.
just at half back, I just don't think he's quite. And I mean, it's not like totally detrimental to the team. Obviously, some turnovers can be, but like for SuperCoach, it really is. Like if you're not
Yeah.
hitting your targets with your kicks, and that's your avenue to scoring, it's just going to look like this most weeks. So, would you do similar like with a row that you just spoke about? Say you had, I mean, I was a similar position, 5 trades or something, 4 trades. Would you look at getting rid of him?
If you need to use 2 trades to get him up, I probably wouldn't. If you get 1 trade to get him something you like, then you could. But I don't know if there's anything you like at that price. Whitfield would have been all right at the time, but he's gone up a bit. Like you got that 550 range, like Ed Richards.
Yeah, I think it's Eddie, isn't it?
And Max
if you've
Home.
got enough money.
Yeah.
And then Sexton. We'll talk about some players we might bring in for those in a sec. But Sexton, again, I didn't watch him. He scored another 80. It seems like that might be what he's doing.
Gets
pretty
benched
much
a bit.
Yeah.
I think I worry with. I think Weller. Do I have the injury list still up? No. I think Weller was 3 weeks away. So I do worry about that. Like Sexton's okay, especially with Flanders moving up. But I think he's just like a role player there. Weller 3 weeks. Oh,
Okay.
Wits is out. I didn't even see that. TBC. Okay. I think Sexton's probably like the 85. I think that's what he is. But I think you're going to get a lot more from Cordwell and Rankin from here on out. So I probably would get him up if you can.
Yeah. Wish I could. He's just not quite high enough of a price. If you got trades, sure, you could waste 2. Not waste, but use 2. If you had maybe, I think I'd want at least 5 to do 2, down to 3.
Yeah.
But I'm already sitting at 3, so like it's just not plausible. To do that, all right, players, George, that we might want to bring in. I mean, I mentioned him off the top, Sinclair. I mean, he's getting expensive now. 620K is the highest priced defender now in the game.
Yeah,
which is funny, overtaking Nick. So you'd want him, wouldn't you, if you could afford him?
Yeah, Marvel run. Was it 7 of 8 at Marvel?
Something like that.
It's hard to get him. Probably takes 2 trades, so I can't get him.
And then I guess we got to talk. Like he's the expensive one that I mean, most people own a lot of the others, so we won't talk about them. But Sinclair's more of your differential for the run home if you can afford him. I say go for it. And then as we said before, in the cheaper range, I mean, McGovern's still 548 if you were inclined to go there. We've said all year we're not. And he keeps just pumping out scores. But did he get injured at the end of the game on the weekend? I don't know. I saw something.
It's like a thumb issue. I think he's fine.
He'll be fine. He gets through that shit every week, it seems like. Clark's around 550 still. So if you can get to that, I still like him. I mean, if Stewart's playing midfield, then Maxi Holmes, I guess, should really shoot up the rankings as well. But who knows if that continues with Stewart. Eddie Richards is the one I like the most, Jordan, and probably. Yeah. I mean, he just for your fun own. I think he's gone pretty much 110, 120 every game in the midfield, that he's played. And then he had that injury at halftime or whatever. So, what's the deal though with the Dogs mids at the moment, mate? I haven't watched, as I said, too much footy. Is Libba around about? I know Trelaw got tagged or something, didn't he? So, like, I guess the thing is Eddie guaranteed to play there?
I think so, but I think it's mid-half forward because the CBAs are like 30, 40%. I think I'm 38 on the weekend for Eddie. I think his first few games in the midfield, he didn't do much, and then something sort of clicked, and he just went 160, 110, 120, 110 or something. Then, the 70 at halftime. So I think his last 4 full games in the midfield was like 128 average. But last 2 CBS have dropped since Lib has come back. I mean, it looks like he's going to continue this form. So I think it's would be a nice pod to have.
Yep. And funnily enough, I looked when SuperCoach opened on Sunday. I have 38.9k in the bank in a direct swap from Martin to Eddie Richards. I'm $100 short, so
Or would you have done that?
probably because I don't care. But down to 2 trades or whatever, but obviously can't. Anyone else around that price as a defender that you might like before we move to another position? Like
I've
500
slaved off
ish.
Whitfield all year, but he's been all right. Whitfield.
Yeah, true. He's 550 ish. I think one that maybe you could bring up is Blakey. I think I've sneakily mentioned him once every like 6 weeks. I think earlier in the year I did. And recently, a couple of people in the Discord have actually got him in, and he's a type of player that is pretty volatile with his scoring, right? Because
Yeah.
doesn't get a total heap of the pill, but when he does and uses it well and takes the game, does all these things, he can really go big. So, I mean, he's average 102 on the year. That's not a bad shout, but how it comes is really up and down. So, if you like a bit of risk, he's one you could take.
I'd probably go elsewhere. Maybe at 500 in the buys.
That's not a George risk. I know that's not a George risk that you'd like, but if anyone's that way inclined, he might give you some highs and lows on the run home. Midfield, we spoke about you before with Rao, so Rosie 435. It's pretty cheap, and yeah, as you said, it can allow you to do another move like a Sexton up or get rid of a Nick Martin as well if you didn't want him. So Rao can unlock that Rosie can unlock that if you do like his prospects for the rest of the year. He's had a few injury issues, as we know, but George seems to think, watching him the last couple of weeks, he's looked pretty good. Anyone else? You said Andy before. Freo's run home's pretty good. Any other mids?
I think the Brizzy mids will be pretty nice to have. They're all 600 plus, I think. I think Dunk's actually not too bad.
Yeah, 590. They're both similar. 590, 600.
Yeah.
Getting expensive. Anyone else that's cheap-ish? Will Day's been pretty decent, hasn't he, since coming back the last couple months? Timmy T's 5-round average is 111, but still probably wouldn't go there. Walsh is actually 559. So if you weren't an owner,
yeah, I would,
and you didn't want to see, pod that the rest of the year, you could go there because he's a little bit cheaper. I've seen Laird in a few teams. What's the go with him, George? Just not worth talking about.
I don't know. I think they're going to keep playing in midfield.
Okay. And Dawson's actually dropped a fair bit, hasn't he? Wow.
Yeah, he had a bit of a rough run, he's been tagged heaps.
Okay.
Plus had a foot issue, so I'm surprised he's not lower than that, but he keeps saving his score. But yeah, he's all right.
Okay. And then the forwards, George. So Caldwell, spoken about quite a lot. He's been traded in, I'd imagine, by a lot of the comp in the last couple of weeks. 505k, CBAs are right up there. I think George, while we just were on, saw a tweet about Sam Durham. Let me find it. Essendon gun Sam Durham missed main train today with illness. Okay, don't worry. That's nothing serious. But anyway, as you said with Parrish, what's he still a few weeks away? Caldwell's been really good. Like, he's been super.
Surely they don't take him out of the CBAs. He's been that good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like him. I think he can do 100 plus for sure.
Yep.
His DT was like, the last 2 weeks have been enormous. Like I think 120 something and then a 144.
Yeah.
Which is like, that is hard to do in DT.
It is a lot of tackles. Going Kerno last week, although he did go well, probably somewhat of a mistake, but we'll see. And then Rankin, we did mention, of course, but because of his such good form before his injury, he's obviously come back and continued it, and he's going up quite a bit in price. He's 580k. Does make it very hard to get him from like a Sexton type. So
still try and get him if you can.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd love to have him. I don't think I can, but if you've got a couple of trades, I think it's probably worth using a couple to have people who have him at F6 George or in their forward line over Sexton. To us, is just, that could realistically be 30 points a week from here on out.
Yeah, so that's a lot of points.
That's a lot. And then any other forwards, like you've got Kerno written down here. He's 450. I got him in, as I said, 2 weeks ago. Didn't expect him to score so poorly against the Tigers, but they do have a decent run coming up. So I just feel like he's just the key forward. You know how it is. 70, 130, 50.
Yeah.
Ton.
I think remember we started Tom Lynch like 5 years ago. 1 week was enough of key forwards for me. That was the last time I picked a key forward.
Is that really burnt you that bad? That scarred you?
Because
Fair enough. That's probably good.
I reckon the year before, it's like, oh, maybe you can do 90s, price in the 70s, and
Because
first week scored 50, just immediately traded him.
I don't think the key forward would have killed you since. Oh, maybe Tex if you didn't, but you got Tex, and that wasn't a year-long thing. You didn't get in for that 5-week patch.
I was too
scared. I did. Okay, so that maybe is the only thing that's hurt you. So it's probably largely been a good decision not to go there towards any of them.
I mean, Kerner should still, in theory, do 90.
And it just, like I said, it won't come consistently. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You need to hope for
patience.
Some bags against West Coast and whatever other matchups he's got on the home stretch, but it will come. Which is where he comes into play as teams that have 23, 24 premiums. You'd probably just want to loop Kerno most weeks.
Yeah.
When I was last good at SuperCoach about 5 years ago, that's what I was doing with, Hawkins and Heaney back then. And it didn't line up very well because every week they seemed to both go 130 or both go 60. And it really pissed me off. But it can obviously work if they do.
Didn't you captain Hawkins for a 40?
Yeah, we won't talk about that. Around 23. I was like 300. I was 300th. I was in Greece, and I was like, I think most people VC'd Neil that week against us, and he had 55 touches or 53 touches and scored 170. And I went, stuff it. They're playing Carlton, who at that time are bottom of the ladder. Round 23, thought Tomahawk would just, load up for a few goals for the Coleman, and he scored about 35 points or something at the Cattery. Did nothing. I was in Greece. I just picked captain and, did my thing, and then woke up the next day, and it was a disaster. Still finished 300th, but I was just like, stuff it. Let's try and get to the top 100 or just get some random ass big score. Didn't really care. But yeah, they're the type of players, as I was saying, that with 23, 24 primos, you can loop and hopefully, get yourself some extra points. Any other forwards, George? Are we going to move on? Talk about some captains and get out of here.
No, move on, I think.
All right. VC, I guess, is probably the question. Because
what about Luke Ryan versus you boys?
Yeah, he did all right last time, didn't he? We didn't pay him any attention, and he just sat there and kicked a kick for 4 hours or 3 hours. So, yeah, I guess him. Surely he doesn't do that again, though, but...
Yeah.
Maybe I'm leaning more towards the wrong, but yeah, I guess Luke Ryan and then Max Gorn, as we said, with the West Coast matchup. Seems pretty good. No Flynn, just BJ for a game. Surely Max gets a big one or turns it around at least.
Max is sort of hard to read at times.
He hasn't been as good lately, has he? He's been in a bit of a dip. I guess his whole team has. We know it's Max. He's still capable of going monster.
I think I'm looking at his last, since round 8, he's got one score of 180 and then a 132, and then everything else is sub 115.
So is it the type of player you want to VC these days? Is that what you're saying?
I think VC only. I'll probably skip Max, which is a very dangerous game to play. I think I'm doing Bont into Ryan.
Yeah, okay.
Or Nick into Bont.
Yep. Okay. There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
I might still do Max, but VC, like you said, and then Dunks against the Crows.
Oh, yeah.
If you got that or Neil. Something along those lines, maybe if you want to go Errol or I think he might get tagged, actually. Has Windy been tagging lately? I haven't watched.
He had CBAs. I don't know if he tagged anyone at Port. I can't remember.
There's a few options, like you said,
Have you seen Bont's last 5 average?
I guess it's monster, if you're asking me that. 140?
Higher.
Is it more? Wow. 153.
It's 147.8.
Yeah, too high. Yeah, okay. Shit.
With the float in the back of the shoe.
Yeah, he's a goat, man. I mean, I hope he gets his, not the goat, but I hope he gets his Brownlow this year. I really do.
It's got to get one. before he retires.
He's been there 10 years, and seriously, there's never really ever been a week he just hasn't put on that jersey and said, "Come with me, boys." Like, has he ever just mailed it in, said, "Nah, too much for me this week, can't be asked"? I don't think he's ever done that. Maybe there's a couple of games Dogs fans would know, but like seriously, I don't think he's ever done that. And he's had not much go his way as far as coaching, and you say what you want about Bevo, but even just other players, like he never really
He's
had
been let down a lot.
Yeah, a lot,
I think
all across the ground. Yeah. So, I want him to see him get some reward at some point, because I don't think the reward left in his career will be the ultimate. Never know, but
yeah.
I mean, it's so open this year, George. They're in the 8 right now, I guess. Are they or not? Have they been?
Don't think so.
Just out with percentage. Oh, actually half a game. So
It changed week to week.
I mean, Hawthorn, what? They're 8-10, 8-2, the last 10, and they're still 13th.
He lost the first 5.
Of course, but you know what I mean? Like, to have
Yeah.
that kind of form and still be sitting at 13th is just like, what the hell? It's just ridiculous this year. So it's clear 1 and 2, I guess, in the comp. Freo have started to turn a bit of their form. Geelong and Collingwood are still hanging around. I think we all mostly think Essendon aren't. I mean, that's been the thought for 2 months. They're not.
They confuse me, Essendon. I
But
guess
they're only 1 or 2 losses away with and 6 teams will jump them. You know what I mean? So I think that will happen eventually. And then Brizzy turning a corner. They're starting. Their percentage says a lot. Their percentage is 120, but I guess so does the Dogs. You could argue their percentage is 120 as well. But they have beat up on Port was obviously a big. Freo was a big win. I think they smacked us by 100 earlier in the year. So it's all debatable, but at least it's open. I still think Sydney's clearly the best team, but finals, anything can happen. So
that'll be a good final series, I think.
Be hard to pick.
Yeah.
Anything else, George? Or we'll leave it at that?
No, that's it. I listen to heaps of talkback radio.
You love it, dude.
Yeah,
I can't.
I listen to essay radio. It's been quite funny. Like, they read out all the troll comments. Like, one guy was like, he just rang in. He's like, "Port, we're back, let's go, boys." And that was before they introduced that call, they're like, that was the most unconvincing win we've seen from Port. And then they read out all the sarcastic stuff. It's actually quite funny, but I'm enjoying essay radio. I used to listen to mostly SEN, but I think I just listened to that when Kingy's on.
Yeah. See, I just want to avoid being that. I don't want to be that 45-year-old, 50-year-old just, listening to that shit all day or yelling at my TV. I just don't want to be that guy. I don't. I want to be at peace later in life.
Yeah.
So I funnily enough used to listen to all that stuff way more when I was early 20s. I just want to, like I said, tune into the footy when I want to, tune out when I want to. Not all this noise. Too much these days, man. It's actually kind of crazy.
That's me when I'm 45, though.
It's gonna be you for sure, mate. It's you now.
I look at my phone to pick it up almost every week to call talk back. Once I didn't get through, and I haven't bothered to ring up since. But SA footy's not great at the moment.
Yeah, that's probably why it's funny. You're just let's tune in and hear everyone.
I mean, it's like AFTV. You're not touching that unless the glory days of bottom 4. Or when they were approaching relegation. It was like, we're 15th.
Is there a showdown left or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the fascinating thing with SA Radio right now is Port is on a knife's edge, and that Hinkley could get booed this week if they lose badly. It's gonna it'll hit the fan something bad on SA Radio because you have so many angry callers. I won't repeat some of them, but you just some hectic wog I'm sick of this mediocrity, and he just doesn't shut up. Suck this guy, suck this. You get all those sorts of calls, but I just find that it's funny when things are going badly. When things are going well, it's kind of boring.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the right time in SA. But anyway, that's enough about South Australian football.
That's funny. I mean, I'm caring about right now is Euros is pretty good. In the knockouts, it gets a little bit more, not bland, but like, you know, it's proper knockout football. You know, 1-0, 0-0. You know, Portugal won on penalties this morning. France just got home, so it's like real. You know, one moment changes those type of games in the knockouts, and it's really weird with like Germany, Spain, Portugal, France all on the same side, and now England, who have been horrible all the tournament and snuck by, got through again. You know, the first round of 16, and they've got like Netherlands is the best team on their side of the whole half, not just like the quarter or semi, like the entire half of their knockout. It's like Netherlands and well, I mean, they play Switzerland next, and then probably Austria if they beat Turkey. Like, you've got the 4 of the best nations. Like Spain played Germany in the quarters, Portugal and France. That's not quarterfinal. Like, they're semi-final, final matchups, but it's fallen well for them. So look, I think England probably had to tip it now would get all the way to the final. I mean, anything can happen, of course. Switzerland could even beat them, but just the pathways opened up. So I don't know. Your Italians, mate, weren't too good.
Oh, Italy, no good.
No good.
Who do you think wins the Euros?
I think Spain, if they get through Germany, is my tip, but that won't be easy. They're probably the 2 best teams left. That's why it's a bit weird.
But that means one of them finish first, one second?
No, they both finished top. It's just they were Group A and Group B. So after their first round of 16, they met like that. It's just way it's played out. Whereas England's was meant to be, it was France that really stuffed it. They finished second, Austria first.
Yeah.
So that gave Austria on the England side, and France went to the other tougher side.
Okay.
Same with Belgium. They came second in their group instead of Romania, so they went to the other side. And so it was just Netherlands.
Mess.
It was, it's crazy, but that's what happens. Can't predict that stuff. And that's about it, George. Nothing else left. We'll sign off here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of random chat at the end. That's probably all it's left to do this year, but we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Talk some more footy, see what's changed in the landscape, and maybe we should add some other segments, George. You know, maybe some
Euros,
random Q&A. Like, I don't care. Ask us any questions, or maybe a bit of trivia, random, like we do. Like, yes, no, not that. Not that. Something a bit more interesting than that, mate.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.